Imagine being 18-year-old. Most teenagers at 18 are figuring out college application.
Arguing with their parents, scrolling through their phones at 2 in the morning. But on October 31, 2023, one young woman walked into the most powerful chamber in Spain, stood before hundreds of politicians, generals, and dignitaries, and swore to give her entire life to a nation of 47 million people. Alone, no rehearsal, no do-overs, the whole country watching, and when she was done, the royal families of Europe went completely silent. Because what Princess Leonor did at 18, alone, was something most grown adults, most trained diplomats, most seasoned royals would never dare to do. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why this young woman is being called the most quietly powerful royal of her generation. And why Europe never saw her coming. Music settles into background. Before we get into what she did, you need to understand who she is. Because the story only makes sense when you know where she came from. Princess Leonor de Borbón y Ortiz was born on October 31, 2005, in Madrid, Spain. She is the firstborn daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, and that one fact changed everything about her life before she could even speak. When Princess Leonor one day ascends the throne, she will be Spain's first queen regnant since Queen Isabella II in the 19th century. Hello, let that sink in. The last time Spain had a ruling queen was in the 1800s. Leonor is about to rewrite centuries of history, and she's only 20 years old. But here's what makes her story different from every other royal heir in Europe right now. She didn't just sit in a palace waiting for a crown. She didn't pose for magazine covers and attend charity galas. She chose something harder, something that shocked even the people closest to her. And it all started on her 18th birthday. Music builds slightly. Most people celebrate their 18th birthday with friends, maybe a party, maybe a trip. Leonor spent hers in Parliament. On her 18th birthday, Princess Leonor, the heir to Spain's throne, formally stepped into the spotlight by swearing allegiance to the Constitution, though boycotts by leftist and separatist politicians underlined deep divisions over the monarchy. Inquirer. Read that again. Boycotts. Politicians deliberately stayed away. They refused to be in the same room. Some of them actively protested her presence. And she walked in anyway. On her milestone birthday, the future Queen of Spain swore an oath to the Spanish Constitution in front of the Cortes Generales and was presented with the Collar de la Real y Distinguida Orden Española de Carlos III, the Royal and Distinguished Spanish Order of Charles III. Hola! She stood at that podium, 18 years old, in a striking all-white suit, and she looked out at a room where some people didn't even want her there. And she spoke. I swear to faithfully carry out my duties, to uphold and ensure that the Constitution and the laws are upheld, to respect the rights of citizens and the autonomous communities, as well as loyalty to the king. Hello. Then she added something that nobody expected. Words that weren't in any script. Words that came from her. She said, "There is no greater pride." And that she owed herself, to all Spaniards, whom I will serve at all times with respect and loyalty. The room went quiet. Because this wasn't a polished royal reading from a teleprompter. This was an 18-year-old girl telling an entire divided nation, I see you. I'm not afraid of you. And I'm not going anywhere. Royal watchers across Europe noticed immediately. Because no other royal heir of her generation had done anything remotely like this. Not at 18, not alone, not in front of that kind of opposition. Music shifts, slightly more intense. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting. The very next month after that parliament ceremony, Leonor enrolled in military academy. Not as a figurehead, not for a photo opportunity. For real training, alongside real soldiers, under the same brutal conditions as everyone else. Princess Leonor enrolled in the General Military Academy, where she graduated in July 2024 and became a junior army officer. The Australian Women's Weekly. Think about what that means. While other girls her age were starting university, going to parties, living their teenage years, Leonor was waking up before dawn. Running drills in fatigues. Learning how to lead under pressure. The Spanish media closely followed the conclusion of the princess's basic training at an army academy in Zaragoza, where she began a 3-year officer's course. Leonor, like her classmates, was seen performing drill dressed in beret and fatigues and receiving a ceremonial sword, BBCI. A ceremonial sword. At 18. And she didn't stop there. After completing her army service in 2024, she transitioned to naval training aboard the Juan Sebastián de Elcano, a 5-month voyage that included stops in Colombia, Panama, and the U.S., culminating in her promotion to midshipman in July 2025. Mabum. 5 months at sea, on a working naval vessel, participating in real-world exercises. She also spent time on board the frigate Blas de Lezo, participating in real-world naval exercises, including live fire drills. The Australian Women's Weekly. Live fire drills. Let me ask you something. Can you name another European Royal Air who has done live fire naval drills before the age of 20? I'll wait. Because there isn't one. This is why European royal families went quiet. Because while their heirs were doing ribbon-cutting ceremonies and giving speeches at galas, Leonor of Spain was learning how to command troops. How to navigate a ship. How to lead people in situations where lives are on the line. Music softens, more elegant, diplomatic tone. But here's the moment. The specific moment that made royal watchers across Europe stop and say, wait. Who is this girl? July 12, 2024. Princess Leonor boards the Royal Air Force Boeing at Madrid Barajas Airport. She reviews the troops. The national anthem plays. And she flies, alone, to a foreign country on an official state visit. As the future queen and direct heir to the Spanish throne, Leonor received a full formal departure, the kind King Felipe usually receives before his international visits. Regal fee. She was 18 years old. On July 12, 2024, Princess Leonor arrived at Lisbon's military airport and was greeted by President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa. She was then received with full military honors at Belém Palace. New My Royals. Full military honors. For a teenager, Princess Leonor then visited the Geronimos Monastery of Santa Maria de Belém, where she laid a wreath at the tomb of Luis de Camões and toured the monastery. Afterward, she traveled to Belém Palace where the president awarded her the Grand Cross of the Order of Christ. UFO no more. The Grand Cross of the Order of Christ. One of the oldest and most prestigious honors in Portugal. Given to an 18-year-old on her first solo trip abroad. And what did she say at the official lunch? 10 years ago, this beloved country was the first destination of my parents as King and Queen of Spain, so I cannot deny how special it is for me to be here today. UFO no more. Perfect. Diplomatic. Personal. Graceful. She knew the history. She'd done her homework. And she delivered it in a way that made the entire Portuguese delegation feel seen. Media reports suggested it is this young royal who will help Spain move on from scandals of the recent past and encourage younger citizens to find relevance in the country's monarchy. Portugal resident. And watching from their palaces across Europe, in Denmark, in Sweden, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, the other royal houses were paying attention. Because their heirs hadn't done this. Not at 18, not alone, not with this level of composure. Music builds toward a conclusion. So what does it actually mean when we say Europe was shocked? It means the rules changed. For decades, the blueprint for a young royal heir was simple. Stay quiet, look good, don't make mistakes, wait for your time. Leonor threw that blueprint away. In the space of just 1 year, from her 18th birthday to the end of 2024, she swore an oath to a divided nation in Parliament, completed military officer training, deployed on a naval vessel to the Americas, conducted a solo state visit to a foreign country, received military honors, and represented Spain on the global stage, alone. Among Leonor's notable achievements is her role as honorary president of the Princess of Asturias Foundation, which she assumed upon her title's conferral. The foundation awards prizes in fields like arts, sciences, and humanities, and Leonor has presented them annually, highlighting talents from around the world. Mabum. Presiding over her Princess of Asturias Awards, decorating individuals including Hollywood actress Meryl Streep and Japanese novelist Haruki Murakami, Leonor assured those present that, I fully understand and am conscious of my duties and what my responsibilities entail. BBCI. Meryl Streep. Haruki Murakami. She stood in front of those people and told them, "I understand what this means." At 18, the contrast with other young European royals is almost uncomfortable. While some heirs are known primarily for their fashion, their relationships, or their occasional public appearances, Leonor was quietly building a resume that most trained diplomats spend decades trying to match. The Swedish royal court noticed. The Belgian royal family noticed. The British commentators noticed. And they all said some version of the same thing. Spain has something special here. Music shifts, sense of momentum, forward-looking. And here's what makes this story even bigger. She's not done. After Army and Naval academies, her studies have now directed her towards aeronautical education. The Australian Women's Weekly, she is now completing her third and final year of military training, this time in the Air Force. Army, Navy, Air Force. She is mastering all three branches of Spain's armed forces before she even turns 21. The princess made history in July 2025, becoming the first adopted daughter of Marin. Her father was awarded the title of Adopted Son of Marin in 1986 during his training at the Naval Academy. Hello, she didn't just follow in her father's footsteps. She made her own history inside those same footsteps. And when she one day becomes queen, and she will become queen, she will be the most comprehensively trained, battle-tested, diplomatically experienced monarch Spain has produced in modern history. Not because it was handed to her, but because she went and got it. Alone. At 18. While Europe watched. Music fades to a gentle, thoughtful tone. At the beginning of this video I asked you to imagine being 18 years old. Standing in Parliament. A divided nation watching. People actively boycotting your presence. And choosing to walk in anyway. To look them in the eye. And say the words. There is no greater pride. That's who Princess Leonor is. Not a princess who waits for history to happen to her. A future queen who walks toward it, alone, prepared, and completely unafraid. Europe didn't just notice Leonor because she's royal. They noticed her because she showed them something they hadn't seen in a long time. A young leader who actually means it. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we cover the untold stories of royal families that the mainstream media doesn't dig deep enough to find. And before you go, I want to know something in the comments below. Do you think Princess Leonor will be the most powerful monarch in Europe? Drop your answer below. That's a wrap. I'll see you in the next one.